Hey guys, welcome back to Dislyte. In today's video, we're going to go through the targets on a reroll. The 5 stars and 4 stars you want to keep an eye out for while you're rerolling, and maybe you'll want to keep. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to keep because everyone's different. Everyone has different reroll limitations on how far they want to go and all that good stuff. But I'll give you some ones to keep an eye out for in case you see them. You might want to keep the rerolls. And before we get into it, I have to give a big shout out to Nico, Play Nick over on Discord. He's a moderator over in the Dislyte Discord, and he's helped me with all this information. He's an absolute legend, so if you see him in the Discord, let him know. So the first thing we're going to go into is Ling versus Sun Wukong. Now, in general, Ling is going to be the most recommended one. The reason being, he does have high single target damage with extra true damage based on enemy's max HP. He's got AoE with the same effect of true damage based on the enemy's max HP. His AoE also steals some AP. This one also heals him at Awakening 3, and his basic ability also has AP stealing. On top of that, he does have a pretty decent base speed at 105, and it does increase at Awakening level 3 or 4, I think it is. He gets another 5 or 10 speed, which is really handy because then you don't have to stress too much on the speed factor. It's always handy having higher base speed in these type of games. On top of that, he does have the attack leader skill, which is also really nice. You know, he's got a really high self-sustain with this ability. It normally tops him off. And if you put like the lifesteal set on him that you get from the campaign, I think is after clearing chapter 9, he also gets massive healing from his AoE as well. And he can be a really good carry unit. So just all round really strong. Also really strong in Chronos. Not so great in APEP because he has multi-hits. But still, you know, he can sort of be used there, but, you know, mainly Chronos, farming, all that sort of stuff. Good AoE cleave for Arena. He's just a good beginner unit. Now, he will get outclassed in a lot of situations, but as a beginner unit, he's fantastic. The other one we do have is Sun Wukong. Now, Sun Wukong has this ability where you grant yourself with different enhancements, and then you can apply different debuffs. You can absorb enhancements to get extra effects. It's not as... She's just... Sorry, I don't know if it's a she or he. I think it's a he. I don't really know. There's a few characters in this game that I get confused about. But Sun Wukong, just not as reliable and straightforward as Ling. She's weak against the Chronos as well. Just not as fantastic in my personal opinion. I actually really do want to do some deep testing on Wukong if I do pull one, but you know, Ling's just that safe option. So that covers that. Next up, we're going to look at some 5 stars of note. So the first one I want to look at is going to be Clara. Now, Clara's just an amazing healer all round, but with her kit, she's actually like, if she's well enough, if she's got good enough relics, she can actually like solo APEP and Chronos at the boss stage. So you put her in as a healer, bring a bunch of nukers, see how you go, and if your nukers die, she'll just take a long time and finish it off. Now, she does need really good relics to do this, but the reason she can do that is attacks an enemy twice, dealing damage equal to 110% of attack, heals 2 allies with the lowest HP for 5% of their max HP. So she's got a heal on her basic attack. She ties into this passive, removes 2 debuffs when granting healing effects to an ally, and grants immunity for 1 extra turn if the target has no debuffs. At the same time, 120% of overflow healing is converted into shield for 2 turns. So because she's healing with her basic attack on 2 allies, she's going to be removing those debuffs and also applying the immunity if she removes all of them, which is really strong in those bosses. And then over here, we've got boost team-wide AP by 20% and recovers 35% of max HP on a 4-turn cooldown. So she's got a really strong healing kit. She's got 106 speed, which is really fast as well. So, you know, also really handy having that fast speed. She does have a defense leader skill in Point War, which can have some uses, but honestly, she's just an all-round amazing unit. Next up, we have Tai. Now, this is another 5-star. Basically, the reason for her is her leader skill. Increases ally speed by 25%. At the moment, she's the fastest leader skill to have in PvP, which is incredibly valuable. If you've played any of these games before, speed often is king if that is the strategy you want to go for, and she's the fastest one. Now, I do believe that she will get power crept out of that meta in the future due to the fact that they don't have a 5-star with an arena only speed leader skill, and normally when they do that they get an extra 5%. So I believe in the future they will introduce power creep and have a character that has a 30% arena only speed leader skill, but at the moment she is the fastest one to go for, and that's the main reason. We can look at the rest of her kit, but this one is actually not too bad. Deals damage equal to 105% attack to all enemies while redistributing 30% 50% of the target's AP equally among teammates. So really strong. That's like a really strong skill to have in a speed team in arena with this leader skill. So you have this leader skill, you have a really fast turn gauge booster, and then you can use her, then maybe have something that strips immunity, and then you can have her, which gives you a guaranteed for your next nuker to go. There's a lot of different ways you can play it, but it's a pretty strong ability. But the main reason we are looking at her is she does have the fastest speed lead. And when we talk about just arena, the other thing is it is everywhere. So you can make use of this in every area of the content. Did I say every area of the content? That makes no sense. In every area of the game. Done. Next up, we have Sally. Not going to spend too long on these. I realize I went a bit long. I'm going to try and speed through these. Amazing healing ability. Puts this on. Makes allies take less damage. Also heals them 26% of their max HP at the start of each turn. Really, really nice. On top of that, she has a dispel debuffs from all ally Espers and even out their HP and grants them attack up. Really nice kit between these two. Has self-immunity on this one, but a really nice skill. And also resist. Not the biggest thing, but in APEP or something like that, sometimes, you know, bringing a resist leader can help depending on your composition. Even though she is weak to that boss, you can just build her super tanky, and she's just an amazing healer. Next up, we're going to have a quick look at Ra. Now, this guy has a very unique skill set. I just really like it personally. The more buffs, the more stacks he gets. So he has this Burning Sun ability. He gets 2 stacks of Burning Sun at the start of each turn, and each buff receives stacks 1 Burning Sun with a maximum of 8 stacks. Then here, with his basic attack, he grants himself attack up for 2 turns and also steals a buff from the enemy, which is not too bad. And then it all comes together in this final ability, where it's a big AoE, and it consumes all of his stacks. Now, if he has 5 or more stacks, he's going to ignore 40% of the enemy's defense. And if he has 8 or more stacks, then he's going to reduce ability cooldowns by 1 turn. And this is on a 3-turn cooldown. So I really like this kit. Has a lot of potential. Just a really self-sufficient damage dealer. And like I said, if you have the right team giving enough buffs, it can be quite threatening. Next up is Hades. Now, this guy's got one of the best designs in the game, but it's not because of that. It's because of his passive, which is absolutely wicked. So he's immune to buffs and debuffs and takes 10% reduced damage from all sources. Now, on top of that, every time someone tries to apply a buff or a debuff to him, he's going to gain this Breath of the Deep. Now, this can grant 5% attack per stack with a maximum of 50 stacks. So he can get a lot of attack increase. And he can get 3% damage reduction per 10 stacks. He's already got a 10% base reduction, plus he can get another 5 stacks of the 3. So he can get up to a 25% damage mitigation, plus incredible like attack increase as well. On top of that, when taking the first deadly hit in battle, he survives and restores HP based on current Breath of the Deep stacks, restoring 1% of max HP per stack, which is huge. His basic attack attacks an enemy twice, each dealing damage equals 65% of attack, while stealing 2 buffs and reducing the target's HP ceiling by 100% of the damage dealt by this attack. Now, the cool thing is, stealing 2 buffs, also just adding to those stacks of himself. He can't actually get them, but it's a cleanse of the enemy and adds to his own Breath of the Deep stacks. Then we have his final ability, steals one buff from each enemy and deals damage to all enemies equal to 110% of attack. Converts 30% of the damage dealt by this attack into healing. So this is where he's got massive mitigation, massive attack increase. He's got a cheat death, and he can also heal himself with this attack, which is really nice, and plenty of cleansing of enemy buffs if they are an issue. So I just really like this guy. Okay, finally, just a couple other ones. Thor, if you like big tanky bruiser arena teams, maybe look at Thor. Gabrielle, fantastic, but she's free to play. You can infuse her. Lucas, pretty cool as well, but also you get him from the tower, free to play, so you don't really have to stress about those two. And the other 5 stars, they're not horrible. It's just those were the main ones that I wanted to look through. Next up, we're going to go into the 4 stars. So for the 4 stars, some of the shimmers, basically the 4-star shimmers are really nice. A lot of them. Probably the best one to look for is Lin Jiao. She's an absolute savage. She has this 3rd skill, and these are the characters that more people are going to have an opportunity to get in the 4 stars. For me personally, if I can get Li Ling and a Lin Jiao, I'm pretty like that's like my peak reroll. I don't think I'm going to go for 5 stars. I just want a Lin Jiao and Ling, but she is pretty rare to get anyway. But this third ability grants 3 stacks of Tiger's Roar, which increases her crit rate to 100%. Deals damage to all enemies equal to 100% of attack, and has an 80% chance, which is pretty high. There's a lot of 30 to 70% chance activation rates. So 80% is pretty high in this game. And you can inflict speed down and defense down for 2 turns. And this is on a 3-turn cooldown. So if you lead on the lead turn with this ability, she's guaranteed to crit every turn. She can keep 100% uptime, aside from if she gets stunned and stuff like that. And also the crit rate, the Tiger's Roar, applies before she does the attack. So she's guaranteed to hit with this attack as well when she uses it on the first time. So you can just stack so much crit damage. She gets like an extra 25% crit damage with her level 6 awakening. She's pretty cool. This one deals damage equal to 230% of attack to a single enemy, which is a really high damage multiplier, adding 2 bleed debuffs that last 2 turns. If it's a critical hit, that inflicts another 2 bleeds, and because she's got this crit buff, she's gonna crit. Then we have this ability here, which is a single target ability, which can put the heal block on the enemy, but also reduce their AP by 30%. She's got an amazing kit. It's like, she's just one of those ones that's like, I like big numbers and doing lots of damage, and I like crits, and when you can just stack crit damage, it feels good, but she's just a really, really solid unit. Next up, and this is going to be my number 2 option, if I get a Sander and a Ling, I'll probably be done there, because Sander is an absolute beast. I have him on my soft launch account, and he's just godly for bosses for denying turns. So basically, when we look at it, he's got a great captain leader skill. He has 25% in all dungeons, which is nice. So that's ritual and sonic miracles. So, anything you're farming, he's going to be fantastic. Speed's always amazing in those things. Then he's got his third ability, which attacks 3 times. And the other thing is he deals damage based on speed as well. So you want to stack him really fast. So you can build him super fast, and that's going to add to his damage and add to his cycling power with these abilities in basically denying enemies' turn with the turn gauge manipulation. So this one, each attack has a 50% chance to reduce the AP of the enemy by 30%. The final attack stuns the target for 1 turn. Really nice. Like, the stun isn't too key on bosses, but in waves, sometimes it's handy. But you've got some massive... Now, it's only a 50% chance, but if you proc all 3 of them, that's 90% of the boss's turn gauge removed. Normally, you're going to proc at least 1, which is going to be 30%, which is nice. Then we have this one. It's going to deal speed down on the enemy, and if it crits, it gives him speed up. So you do want to build him with a bit of crit, but the great thing about him is, because he deals damage based on speed as well, you don't have to prioritize as much attack. Obviously, attack is going to increase his multipliers as well, but you can find some room for some crit in his kit as well. Then we have his basic attack, which is also going to reduce the target's AP by 30% and deal damage based on speed. He's just an absolute beast for bosses. Speed leader skill in dungeons, absolutely fantastic all around. And like I said, him plus Ling would be my second option to settle on rerolls. Maybe I go hard and go for a 5-star, but between Lin Jiao and him, I'm pretty happy if I get one of those 2. Next up, we have Ao Bing. We'll go with Ao Bing. I suck at names, but the main reason for him is this speed leader skill. He's got a 20% leader skill, which is the second fastest that you can get. Really handy for speed PvP teams. He also has an AoE freeze and speed down with a 100% chance activation rate, which is very rare. Like, there's a lot of, like I said, 30 to 70% activation rates in this game. 100% to speed down and freeze is really nice. But yeah, that main reason is to get that speed leader skill, mainly for arena, which is going to be really handy. Once again, he's another one that I think will get, that they'll eventually make a, like a points war or arena speed leader 4-star, which will have 25%. But for now, he is not too bad for PvP if that's what you want to look at. Next up, we're looking at the twins down the bottom here. So these 2 by themselves are not crazy, but if you can get both of them, they're fantastic. So the reason being, if we look at the first skill here, attacks an enemy twice, each dealing damage equal to 60% of attack, 40% chance of inflicting sear for 2 turns. If the other twin, I'm not going to try and say names, is present, then the strike deals extra damage equal to 5% of the target's max HP, up to 60% of attack. So you get that extra effect if the other twin's on board. And it's their second skills that really come into play for this effect. So attacks all enemies twice, each dealing damage equal to 45% of attack, with a 40% chance of inflicting speed down for 2 turns. If the other twin is present, the ability deals 2 additional attacks with the same status effect applied. So you're pretty unlucky not to get a speed down application with a 40% 50% chance on 4 hits. It's really strong. And then this one here, we do have the crit rate up, and we also have the defense down, which is really nice on this ability as well. Then the other twin that we look at, this one, reducing AP by 10%. If the other one is on the board, the attack 2 more random targets with the same damage and status effect. So not too bad, reducing AP AoE with a basic attack. Not too bad. And the cool thing is 2 extras. It's not too bad spreading that to 2 extras, you know, especially in the 3-man fights that we end up with. Attacks all enemies twice, each dealing damage equal to 45% of attack with a 45% chance of inflicting stun for 1 turn. If the other twin is on the board, it deals 2 additional attacks with the same status effect applied. So once again, this one when you got both of them, their second skill is for both of them is hitting 4 times with a 45% chance to apply speed down with one of them, stun with the other one. You're pretty unlucky not to land those effects when you are using that. Then we've got speed up for 2 turns and attacks twice. Like, the speed up ain't too bad. Each dealing damage equal to 120% of attack and stealing 10% of the target's AP. It's not too bad. Pretty decent kit between both of them. And like I said, if you compare them up, really nice on their own, fairly average in my opinion, but once you got both of them on the same team, it's pretty nice. Next up is Asenath. Now she is another shimmer, so very rare to get. I believe the soft launch people had an event where they could get her for free, or there was a patch where, yeah, they all managed to get her if you were playing at the time, but she's an absolute beast. We got this one, increases team-wide AP by 25% and grants Lotus Mark. Each triggered Lotus Mark increases AP by 20%, which isn't too bad. And when we got the Lotus Mark, reduces damage taken by 50%, disappears when attacked. So you get the damage mitigation and the AP increase after you mitigate that damage. It's a really cool ability. I love this ability. This one heals all ally Esper equal to 10% of their max HP plus 80% of her attack and grants recovery for 1 turn. It's only 1 turn recovery, but it is still extra healing and it is a 3-turn cooldown. This one is the 4-turn cooldown. And then on the basic attack, deals damage and 60% chance to dispel a buff from the target. Not too bad. And we do have the dungeon defense leader, which, you know, in certain situations can be really nice if you're just trying to survive a bit more than deal damage. So she's an absolute beast. Past that, I don't want to get stuck into going through every character. For instance, Lu Yi can be decent in Fafnir and stuff like that. Who else we got? Chloe. Chloe's a really nice just general damage dealer. I really like Chloe. I didn't end up building mine because I just took a break, but I really like Chloe, and if I pull her on global server, I'm definitely going to build her. She's just got these really nice multi-hit attacks, and I just feel like she can be an amazing damage dealer. Not too well tested by me. I have seen some other people in the community that really like her as well, but that basically sums it up. The other thing, if you're looking at characters that you like, just keep in mind, Dahlia is farmable. She procs off, I call it a secret dungeon from Summon Wars days. They call it a Ripple over here, but yeah, you can get her for free. She's actually not too bad either with a AP up plus attack crit, you know, for budget, like nuking teams in arena early game. If I can pick one of her up in like my first few days, then I'll just throw her into my arena team as the lead, as the first unit, and away we go. But yeah, like I said, free to play. Besides that, I think that'll just about do it. Like I said, I'm not saying every other unit is bad. Those are just the main ones that I did want to highlight. But anyway, guys, best of luck on your rerolls. Let me know what you're going for in your reroll. If you do get a godly reroll, please come back and let me know. And hopefully I can show you guys a godly reroll in the future. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.